Good morning. Welcome to Saturday Somm-Things with Sian. But as you can see, Sian is not here. I'm taking her place. She is on holiday and will be back soon. However, we have a special guest today. Jonathan Will from Harvest will be joining us for these beautiful whites on a super hot day. So I will let Jonathan take it away.
So to start off, we're going to have two Spanish whites. The first is going to be from the Penedès region from a producer called Avino. They are known for making cava, which many of the producers out there are. This is a different wine. This is called a Pétillance de Viagulla, which is a prickly wine in Catalan. So what they're doing is they're starting off with Muscat, Charlot, and Macabeo. They ferment once and then a second time in tank, which is known as the Charmat method, and that produces a wine which has a softer sparkle to it. Many people, when they see Muscat, would automatically assume it's sweet, and yet it's almost entirely fully fermented. The amount of residual sugar is extremely low. What you're left with is a slightly effervescent, very clean, fresh wine, high in minerality, and a distinct nose of orange blossoms. Incredibly refreshing, typically somewhat low in alcohol, around 10%. It's great for the summer, it's great for brunches, and in general, it's just a very, very refreshing wine.
The nose is just oranges and tangerines, almost creamy, but so intoxicating.
It really is. The nose hints at sweetness, and sweetness is a difficult thing to judge from aromatic because we don't ever smell sugar. It doesn't have its own aromatic. We smell things which allude to being sweet. We smell things which are, in our experiences, have been sweet, but the nose here suggests much more sweetness than is actually on the palate. On the palate, it's quite refreshing and clean.
It's a beautiful wine. What would you pair this with?
This is best done with lighter fare. So the nice thing with higher acidity wines, of which the first two are both very high in acidity, is that you can pair them with foods that have either sugar or oil or fat to them, but nothing too dense. So brunch foods work well by itself. It's really quite nice. And then both of these wines, the first two, pair quite well with seafood, which makes sense because of the proximity of both these regions to the sea.
I would probably have that with clams casino or boquerones. Spanish white anchovies are just beautiful.
Yeah, the cleansing factor is great with fish. So you're not going to have any type of fish taste left on the palate after you taste.
Okay, moving on.
Next up, we're going to go to Doña Gorondona Chacolina, coming from the Basque country of Spain. I've always joked around that the people here truly don't care about selling to Americans because Chacolina is a very difficult term to pronounce. The grapes are Handarabi Zuri, Handarabi Zureta, and it's a difficult wine for a lot of people to understand. It has a very slight sparkle to it again, much less than the first one, but much higher minerality, more body to it, and is a classic wine from the region to be drank out of a Perron. So the Perrons work by filling up, pouring from a distance, and then you actually can have a stream, unbroken stream, and you ideally will pour it directly into your mouth, which some people are better at than others. As you can see, we're not going to actually do this for the video for a reason. But that tends to aerate the wines. It tends to bring out a lot of aromatics. Once again, this is a great pair for seafood. The best vineyards of which these come from are always very close to the sea. They say if you can't see the sea from these vineyards, then they're too far away. They don't produce the type of climate that you need to make grapes ripen but still have very, very high acidity. So once again, it's called Chacolina from Gorondona.
It has a really interesting nose. You can almost taste or smell the sea salt.
The salinity,
right,
absolutely.
Right.
And with that, it actually is salinity. The sea actually blows in fog and also mist, and this actually comes through the soil, and you do find a presence of salinity in these wines.
It's really smooth, quite beautiful. Definitely have this with gazpacho.
Perfect.
Some type of soft Spanish cheese or even a manchego would be great.
And seafood. I mean, almost anything seafood works great because the minerality, once again, the acidity expressed is more mineral driven than citrus driven, and that works great with many different types of fish. Obviously the fish that you'd get in Basque Country, but if you're in America, you can compare it with many different types of fish.
Okay, so moving on to this gorgeous Pouilly Fuissé. It is a French white Burgundy, 100% Chardonnay, and just elegant. You can smell the lemon creams, the butter creams, but it's not sweet and it's not syrupy. It's just beautifully balanced. For a Chardonnay from France, I think it just over-delivers.
One of the really nice things about the different expressions of Chardonnay and the different ways to make it is that this does see some oak, but it's French oak. It's much more neutral oak. The oak is adding more body and texture, less of the dominant flavors you see from from American oak, such as the vanilla, the very, very heavy vanilla. This is more spice, more texture.
A little toasted almonds, right. And just having finesse. It's not your over-oaked, overblown butter bomb from California. It is so refined and just beautiful and terribly, terribly underpriced.
Hey, Sian says hello.
Hello to Sian and cheers to Sian. So, finally, to wrap this up, for our whites, it's supposed to be 92 degrees today. That's why we chose this. We're having a Moonlit Harvest Chardonnay from Monterey, California. This is going to be a cooler climate Chardonnay. And what they do at this winery, they harvest the grapes at night for optimum effect and maximum flavor. And it really shows through because it's not heavy. It's not terribly flabby, as we call it in the wine world. It's just perfect for your everyday go-to white Chardonnay from California.
One of the problems that a lot of Central Coast wineries have is that the fruit is overdeveloped and the acidity is underdeveloped. And with this, they've done a nice job of maintaining ripeness while also having a nice backbone, a nice core of acidity. It's done very well.
And with these four wines, the contrast, the flavors are just incomparable. So when you come down to Argonaut, these will be on sale at the end of aisle 10. And don't miss out because it's only going to get hotter and hotter, and people love their white wines, and try something new, something different, because you won't be disappointed. So cheers to Sian.
Cheers.
And cheers to you.